The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Could you live with someone, Natalie, again right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like a romantic partner, the man that whisks your heart away. I mean, he's
not if I can help it.
You get stuck in your own ways, don't
It's
you?
not that. I just really, really value my own space.
Me
Yeah.
too.
And you know, I've lived in share houses, I've lived with a partner, I've lived with one flatmate, and I've lived on my own, and I love living on my own more than anything else.
You know what the thing is? Also, because, like, just say, Natalie, you get home and someone's talking at you. It's like, oh, shut up. I've got Siri and Alexa, but they don't speak unless I speak to them. And that's
It's
what
not
I
even
like.
the talking for
That's a
me.
good
It's
thing.
the space. It's having
Space.
somebody else in my space.
Yeah.
For a while, a couple of years ago, a friend's sister was moving from Broome down here for a job, and she had about 3 months where she had a house organised, but it wasn't available for 3 months, and she stayed with me. She's an amazing girl, just incredible. Most weekends she was
great.
away
But get out
as
of my
well.
house.
But just having somebody else in my space, like I come home, there's someone on my couch. I'm like.
That's when you have to do. That's when you have to do like passive aggressive. Did you move that cushion? It's fine if you did, but did you move that?
I know,
Okay.
and it's like she did nothing wrong, but it just made me really appreciate how much I love not living with someone else.
Yeah,
So,
right.
like, my whole history was share house, and then then the biggest share house was Big Brother, and then after that, living alone, and I absolutely love that. So I just love this story. It's the Fremantle Dr. Shaun, the draftees. How's this for a share house? You've got the new draftees, Murphy Reid and Charlie Nichols, and then they've moved in with Andrew Brayshaw and Caleb Sarong. I'm just thinking one thing: 4 best friends out on the town, drinking Cosmos.
It's such an interesting thing for those young people to be put into a
And
situation.
every footy club does this, don't they? Now?
They've been doing it. So shout out to the Urquharts who let their son Luke go to the airport yesterday. He was flying over to North Melbourne, right? So so he goes straight in and lived with the equivalent of Andy Brayshaw and Caleb Sarong. Because think about this. You've watched these guys on TV.
Yep.
Next thing you know, you're going to live with this person.
Yes.
Yep.
Amazing,
And then
isn't
they've
it?
got to take you in, and both those guys who you mentioned, Nate, have got recently engaged, so that their partners have to be a part of this as well.
I remember during uni, this isn't, of course, footballers, but during uni there was this guy that, they used to have the notices. It was like the internet for poor people.
Yeah.
It's on like a billboard, and then you pull the little bit of paper off.
The notice board at uni.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I found a house like that.
Yeah. So they found this house. Anyway, so this guy moved in, and it was probably a week later on, and he comes to uni and he goes, "Oh my God, I found the most shocking thing." We said, "What?" And he goes, "The guy I'm living with, who has got the rental of the house, so he's in charge of the house, is a ventriloquist."
Oh, no, that's... no one needs to live like that.
And he said he walked out one time, and there's this guy with a ventriloquist doll in his lap. And he's just gone like... And he said that was more disturbing than if he was doing some sex crime.
Yes.
Like, it was just too much
that's
for
as
him.
bad as it gets. One of my friends moved to London and found an amazing room in this incredible house, moved in with this woman, and it turns out that she was Salman Rushdie's ex-wife. Now, this is when Salman Rushdie, so he's the writer.
Wasn't he in exile?
He had a fatwa put out against him, which is a threat to his life. But so they were no longer married. He didn't live in this house, but there was a police watch on this house. So they had constant police guard because of the association.
Yeah.
So she moved into it. It's an amazing house, and she really liked this girl and got on great with her. But constantly there was the threat of death.
This is crazy.
Well, that's amazing. Did you get a cheaper rate?
I know,
But
right?
think about this as well. You could, we've been sharing a house with someone back in the day, and then on the news
And now
tomorrow
they're
turn up
famous.
and they're like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Or
I know, oh my
infamous,
God.
Dexter.
sure.
Yeah, we want to talk about this, all right? 13, 24, 10. Think about the living situations that you've been in, and think about the most memorable one. The one where you go like, I used to live with A, or I used to live with this group of.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
Obviously, all my former flatmates are going to ring up and say that they used
what a
to
dream.
live
What
with
a dream,
me.
they say. We circle around her house like
When
seagulls
she
for a
was
chip.
when she was no one.
Yeah. Sam, hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Tell me about your most memorable person that impacted your life that you lived with.
Well, I used to live with this Swedish girl. She was, fresh into the country. She's so beautiful. Like, literally hot.
Sure.
10 out of 10. Naturally really light blonde hair. She was super tan.
So basically, when you
all
think
day
if
in
you're
the
going to
sun.
cast someone in a movie, that would be her, the hottest
Action star, yeah. But she would walk around the house naked all the time.
Horrendous.
And Sam was disgusted and called the police.
No, but just like seeing this like amazingly hot figure all day in front of me, it's like what started all my like body dysmorphia.
So Sam went through a real trouble period, but she was the light.
She was the catalyst, yeah.
You're like, my boobs will never look
I'll
as good as
never be
hers.
like that.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. Leanne's in Belia. Hello, Leanne.
Hello.
Hi, Leanne.
Who did you happen to live with over the years?
So I was living by myself at the time, and I had a friend of a friend who had split up with his wife.
Yeah.
And he needed somewhere to crash just until he found his own digs to live in.
Okay.
And it was just like, yeah, fine, come stay, not a problem, just get yourself sorted and blah, blah, blah. And, like, he was a really good housemate, clean, tidy,
nice.
ex-army.
Yeah.
And, you know, we ended up talking one night. I was sort of getting dinner, and I was, because I'd noticed that the manhole that we had in the roof in the house,
Yes.
there started to be more and more fingerprints on the manhole.
Oh, but you shouldn't be fiddling around with your manhole.
No.
I was sitting there just looking at it and just going, I don't know what's going on up there. But, you know, I didn't think too much of it. Sort of none of my business. And, so I just sort of said to him, and, you know, what did you used to do in the army? And he said to me, it's sniper. So,
That's next level.
You never have a mosquito at your house, would you?
because I was sitting there just going, oh, my God, I'm living with a hired gun.
So what was with the manhole?
He
Was
put
he
it up
hiding
there.
weapons up there?
He had weapons.
He had guns in his manhole.
In her
your manhole.
That's got to be uncomfortable.
Oh, my God. How many guns? Did you see the guns?
No, I didn't. But, yeah, that was where they were stashed. And, you know, like, I was pondering, and it was sort of like, look, he's only staying for a short time.
Yes.
I sat there and just went, look, you know, I can either really stress about this and ask him to move out, or I can just actually sleep.
Don't
You know
stay
what?
on the
You know
right
what?
side
This
of
is
him,
the thing.
Leanne.
This is the thing, Leanne, because you would have said, okay, I need you to move out. You would have gone for a walk, and then he would have shot
Yes.
you dead a kilometre away.
Just a
and you
red
would never
dot
have
on
seen-
your forehead at
Hey,
all
no,
times.
He might be on the roof. He's up on your roof, like pinging people around, and it's like murder's 5 kilometres away.
Leanne.
Oh, my God. That is insane.
That is
That's great.
insane.
That is
Thank you.
insane.
Simone's in Lansdale. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Simone. So what was in your manhole?
I was going to say mine's nowhere near as dangerous as that, but it was pretty scary.
Yeah.
I went to London when I was 20,
Yeah.
and I was literally quite an innocent 20, and I ended up living with 3 6-foot skinheads and had to sing the Chelsea song every morning when I woke up.
What do you mean? So they got up in the morning, they
sang the Chelsea song before they got
And
away
you were
today.
too, frightened not to do it?
I was too scared. There was 3 6-foot skinheads every morning.
And you're going, I don't know the words.
Innocent 20-year-old. Yeah, it was pretty scary.
So
what a
how did you get
situation.
there in the first place, Simone? How did it come about?
Because
you
in
living
my
with them?
mind, you've met them and they said, yeah, come live with us, and then you've moved in, and that day they took all their wigs off.
Yeah, no, I had a friend who was dating one of them, but she didn't live there, and she goes, they've got a spare room, and I was like, okay, no worries. And it was in quite a dodgy area anyway that I found out later. But yeah, I ended up moving in, and there was 3 of them, and 6 foot, big guys, fully tattooed. One of them even had a tattoo in his mouth.
Wow, that's
How the tattoo was fit in there?
Wow.
That's so small.
Yeah, on the bottom of his lip, but
Yeah.
I can't really say what it says.
No,
but,
I think we can
It
imagine.
said
it was
bottom
like
lip.
see you next Tuesday kind of thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it was pretty scary because I was so innocent when I was only 20.
I just love the fact that you
20.
were there terrified at table singing
Absolutely
the
terrified.
Chelsea football song.
Every
Do you still remember the
football
words,
song.
Simone?
Chelsea, boys in blue, Chelsea, Chelsea, we love you.
I mean, it's not a
You know what?
complicated
Yeah.
song.
But I like the passion because you can hear it. You're singing to survive.
Did you ever invite friends around to your house or anything, Simone?
No, never. I tried to get out there as much as I
bet you
could,
did.
but living there, you just had to sleep. That was it.
Mate,
So-
romper imagine that.
Yeah,
That's
romper
like romper
stomper.
stomper. You're
Yeah.
in the romper
Yeah,
stomper movie.
exactly. That's exactly what it was like.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't think we'd come across
love
a sniper and a skinhead.
No,
This
I
is
know.
fantastic.
Lily's in Freo. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Lily.
Who have you lived with, Lil?
So it wasn't me, but it was my family.
Yeah.
So we've got a granny flat out the back that we would do like long-term Airbnbs with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, right.
So we'd have families from all over the world come stay, but once we had this one guy come stay for 6 months, and he was a bit weird and he would never come out and he always had the curtains down and, we just never saw him. And Mum once saw him out at the bin and asked if he was okay and he just told us he was sick.
Oh,
okay.
So he had his own kitchen, bathroom, everything like that, so he never really had to come to the main house.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he was completely down there, had his own access from the driveway.
Yeah.
And one day the range hood in there exploded and we heard the explosion and my parents went out there and he was actually using it as a drug house.
He was cooking up?
Yeah, he was cooking and
You're in a
making
meth lab in
his
your
own
granny
drugs.
flat.
Yeah. And he was fully selling and making drugs out of our granny flat.
How good.
How good.
Yeah.
But no, Sean, that's not the right response.
How bad?
I want to know, because did it translate into the fact that his place was really neat? Did he do a lot of yard work for you because he had a lot of energy? Or what was it like?
Well, we didn't see him.
Never saw
we
him.
literally did not
Just in
see
there
him.
cooking
And,
meth.
think about it. We're two little young kids with my
Yes.
parents.
Yeah.
And we're just playing on the trampoline whilst 2 metres away in the
There's a
granny
meth
flat.
lab.
There's a drug lab going on.
That is insane.
And we always would have people come as well. So, he would get an odd visitor here or there, but we never really thought anything of it because, he's paying for 6 months.
So what happened? So you called the police? What happened?
Well, yeah, we called the police
Yes.
and it all got raided.
Okay, raided.
But then, yeah, I don't know, you do the Airbnb stuff and you get, insurance stuff from it.
Oh,
That's
really?
what my
Yeah, of
dad
course,
always
yeah.
said.
Oh, that'd be worth it.
That's
Yeah.
good going.
Yeah.
Because he blew up the range. He was also using
That's not covered in the cleaning fee, is
It's
it?
in your house as a what?
Yeah,
a
it was
drug
the
lab.
cleaning fee and basically, the drug fee that we had commission
That's
in.
frowned upon, Nathan. Just for
People
future
were coming
reference.
over to pick up, were they? Or he was making big lots to sell to
You
someone
would have
else?
noticed that, I think.
Well, we didn't really know what they were coming for, but we just knew that they were dropping stuff off, and he was
Yes.
taking massive loads to the bin as well. And we just
Geez,
he
popular.
was using it. I know.
It's the beauty of a separate entry,
He
isn't
orders
it?
a lot from Amazon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a story. Thanks, Lily.
Fantastic.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
I caught up with a friend on Saturday morning. So she lives in Margaret River, and I'm like, what are you doing up here?
Yep.
And the answer was she had gotten a message at 2:30 in the morning.
Chinese dentist.
2:30 in the morning from her niece who was at Dunsborough for leavers.
Oh, yeah.
And the message was, can you please pick me up at 7:30 in the
Yep.
morning because I want to go home.
Well, that seems like an emergency. Something full on had happened.
Yeah, that's not good
right.
at all.
Yeah.
No.
The
would be
problem
terrifying,
was
apparently.
she wanted to go home early because she was caught in the middle of a love triangle and could not deal with the hassle anymore. So there was one boy that liked her, but she didn't like him. She liked another boy, but those two boys were friends.
Yeah.
And so the one that liked her was really upset because she said no, and because she liked the other guy, and
But the
but that
guilt.
guy felt bad about hooking up with her because he was friends with him. So he went and hooked up with another girl in front of her to prove his loyalty. So she said, please pick me
a
up and
lot.
take me
It's a
home. So
lot.
she did.
It's a lot.
Oh, my gosh. She
Came
came
home
home from
early.
Margaret River.
Yeah, came up from Margaret, picked her up and took her back to Perth.
Yeah, if I had
what
called my
aunties are
parents,
for.
if I had called my parents and said that scenario when they got down there, my dad would have punched me into the ocean. Like it was,
She just
not
had
in a
enough. She
million
couldn't
years.
take another
Oh,
moment.
yeah, no way.
Like,
no.
not in a million years. I love schoolies. I
The
think
drama.
it's great. But the thing about us though is that when we did schoolies, cameras weren't running around.
No.
Filming. It wasn't
No.
a thing.
No.
It wasn't a thing. But some schoolies, your parents are watching. Your parents are watching. This guy in the Gold Coast, he got a reporter come up to him. Have a listen to this.
Does your mum know you're getting a tattoo?
No, no way. No way.
What's she going to say when she sees it?
Well, I'm praying she doesn't see it, but she's not going to be very happy.
You're on the news.
You're on national TV.
You're on the news. Put down the heart solo. That's insane.
Oh, no. Well, on the weekend, I was speaking to a few dads that had their kids go to schoolies. Some were successful, some weren't. But there's one of my mate's sons. First of all, my mate works in the services stuff, so he's a fiery, actually.
Oh, yes.
So he was down there, and his son was down there doing schoolies, and that was great. But he decided that, well, not he decided, he was put in the area so that there was a setup when people got
in
really
in the lever zone.
Yep. So if you got really sick, whether through alcohol or drugs or whatever the case is, then people would look after them. Yeah, emergency services there, all that kind of stuff. And he was in there. The first person that gets rolled in on the very first night.
Because they've gone too hard.
They've gone too hard was his son.
How can I just say, that's such a great moment, isn't it, really?
Proud parent moment.
When your son won.
Yeah. So he has got he's showing me on his phone, he's got a photo of him and his son. His son's on one of those gurneys and he's got that, that silver blanket thing that they put over you.
That flood victims have.
Yes. He was in there for 3 hours until he could take the photo and have a conversation because he was so cooked.
Yes.
And spewing up from the alcohol. That,
if you're in a state where someone has to put that tin foil around you,
yes.
Have a think about what you're doing.
I mean, if it's shock from an accident, fine.
Yes, if you've been in a fire and they're trying to warm you, no worries.
Yeah.
But if that's from you drinking and someone puts an emergency services blanket on you, you need to readjust what you're doing.
And that person is your dad.
Yes. What a proud moment. What a proud moment.
These are great. Good. So we know that schooling is happening. We know that people are getting all the stories fed back. They're
home. So you would have they finished on Friday, so you would have gotten maybe a little bit of the lowdown over the weekend.
Love triangles, someone getting brought into
drama.
There.
I mean, let's not forget the girl that went missing. So this girl went missing. It's on the news. There's an alert put out with her face and her full name saying she hadn't returned to her accommodation. And so everybody knows that and then she turned up a couple of hours later. She just had a big night the night before and we're all assuming just hooked up with somebody and her phone's died or whatever and hadn't let anybody know. So now everybody knows, her family, everybody that's ever met her knows that she's the one.
She got cut from the herd.
She got cut from the herd and had a great night and it's been a bit dusty when she's returned to her accommodation where all her friends are like, oh, we thought you were dead.
I tell you what.
That's grim.
Your kids gone through school, do you question them a lot? Because I say the tattoo thing, right? I would literally, if my kid came back from school, I'd go derobe. I want to check if he tattoos.
Oh, would you?
Don't you think?
No, I don't know. One of my mates at the beach on Saturday, he was talking about it. He was just getting inside of his son Max being over there, who slept all day and stuff like that. But he encoured everything. Get out there and have a crack.
Have a good time.
Enjoy it. When I was coaching one of the footy teams, one of the dads came up to me after the kids came back from schoolies, and his wife Kath drove down to pick them up, just to make sure that they didn't drive around, if they had a few drinks. So that was a good idea.
Sensible.
So she picked up all these boys, was driving back up the freeway, gets a call from the landlord of the house that they hide in Dunsborough.
No.
They said, God, this has never been cleaner.
Never been worse. So Kath turned around on the freeway after driving about, she was, almost 2 hours back to Perth.
Yes.
Drove straight back down and made the kids clean up the house.
Well done, Kath.
Yeah, well done.
Do they know how to clean then at those ages?
The boy, and obviously they got picked up in the morning and said, no, everything's fine. Well, it wasn't.
So, I mean, Kath would have run a tight ship.
I remember as a teenager not understanding the washing machine. And it's like, it couldn't be the simple thing. You just put it in there and just press a button.
I know, there's a lot of things going on. I know. Yeah.
Simone's in Kewdale. Morning, Simone.
Morning.
Okay. Have you got a story from Levers for us?
Yes. Just over 10 years ago, I used to work over at Rottnest Island as a cleaner.
Jesus, mate. That's your name, isn't it?
Yep. One day my boss came to me and said, look, I'm going to pay you a whole week's wage if you go clean this room. So I walked in there and they had vomited in buckets and thrown it at the roof and everywhere.
What's wrong with people?
You animals!
Yeah. Every cupboard had poop in it. They had pooped in the crisper and the freezer.
They pooped in the crisper.
Yep, they brought in quokka poop from outside and smeared it on the walls. It was... Yep, it was bad. It took me a whole day to clean it, but I got a whole week's pay for it.
A bunch of little poop heads.
When does that start becoming funny?
Oh, it didn't.
No, it's funny at the start. I reckon.
You know what? Because as kids, we've got to remember we don't know about cleaning. When you do something at home, your mum yells at you until she does it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you don't do it.
No, you don't.
But I mean, I think at home you wouldn't be pooing in the cupboards.
You do, Natalie. You don't.
Right?
That's funny though.
It was the one in the freezer that got me.
Yeah. I mean, that's even funnier. That's a good one.
But in the freezer, the freezing makes it easier to get it out.
Exactly.
I would have thought.
I mean, look, who hasn't pooed in their glove box? But this is not in the home.
It didn't.
Okay. The glove box is easy.
Solid.
Jeez,
Simone.
How much money did you get? Do you remember what sort of money?
A week's worth.
I made just over $1,000 to clean one room.
Sean, could you do that? $1,000.
I don't think it was enough money, Simone. I'm just going to. I know it was 10 years ago.
No, I don't either. But you get that.
Oh, Simone,
amazing.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Let's go to Slim in Greenwood. Hello.
Good. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good,
Slim. Okay, talk to us. What's your levers down low?
All right, so it started off on the Tuesday, because that was the second festival with the Zone.
Yes.
I was really excited, so, had a bit to drink, and my friend gave me this thing I should take, which would make my night a lot more enjoyable.
Sure. Okay. Right. Yep.
Anyway, so I took one, nothing happened. So I took the next one.
Yeah.
Then
Hello?
But then what happened is I got sent home on the bus.
Yes.
And then I made heaps of new friends on the bus.
Yes.
And I ended up coming back on the next bus back to the Zone.
Yes.
Well, you're having such a good time.
With your new friends.
Having such a good time.
With all my new friends, and then for the rest of the week, I had strangers coming up to me saying, "Well, you were that bloke on the bus."
Meeting everybody.
What did you do on that bus that made you so memorable,
The
Slim? What was
Vanga
that?
bus.
What were you doing?
Honestly, I don't know.
Don't know?
To be honest, I don't want to know.
Hey, Steve, were you having did you have a good time over that period, just over the last couple
Yeah, it was
of the week?
absolutely awesome.
Yeah. But was it bus good or not?
The buses, to be honest, the buses were the best part.
Could I just say, there's people going, we met the most marvellous young man on the bus today, and he's just so full of energy, and there's so many things to say.
Imagine
he's
the
so
real
responsible. Good
heroes
guy.
in this situation are the bus drivers.
Oh, my
Imagine
gosh.
what
Nat,
they
couldn't
have
pay
to
me
put
enough.
up with, what they have seen over the last week. Amazing.
We'll get your details, Slim, because we might use you on one of our Nova buses. We've got the Christmas party coming up
exactly,
this week.
Exactly.
So you can entertain us.
He is the bus guy. Alice is in Bertram. Hello.
Hi.
Alice, what's your take?
How are you guys?
What have you seen or heard?
Well, it's actually about myself. It was a little while ago now. We were in Dunsborough at the time, and we were at one of those outdoor parties near the foreshore.
Yes.
And me and my best mate were sort of, a little bit tipsy, I guess, hanging out, trying to hook up with some boys.
Yes.
And I came across this really cute guy, and he was with his best mate. I was with my best mate, and we decided to go for a bit of a walk on the beach, and I guess,
Just, go sort out the dunes. Go sweep up the dunes. Sweep up the dunes.
Yeah. We had a bit of a good time, and we thought, we'll try and sneak him into the Dunsborough Caravan Park.
Oh. Yeah.
To see that way we can get away with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding. We jumped over the fence, and this big Maori guy came in with motorbike, just out of nowhere, caught my partner, the guy that I hooked up with, into a freaking massive headlock, and just threw him over the fence.
Oh!
And these guys they just bolted, and we never thought we'd see them again. We're like, oh my gosh, what the hell happened?
Oh my God!
I know. And when we got back to Perth, we got a random phone call from my best mate's phone, which she had actually lost the speech, but we never went back to look for it.
Yeah.
And we realised that the two boys actually went back to the beach and found the phone, and they managed to get in contact with me through her mobile phone, because we had one of those old Motorola phones that you can unlock.
They didn't lock,
And we ended up catching up, and I ended up staying with Aaron, my now husband, and we've got two beautiful kids.
That's how you met your husband.
Aaron, who was thrown over the fence
by the bouncer.
Yeah.
Oh my God! That is beautiful.
What a beautifully romantic meet.
We're looking at like kids just running them up, but no, this is where life, this is where family was made. That's amazing. Has he been thrown over a fence since?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's good, Sean.
We do love a love story.
That
we
is
do
love.
Yeah, that's a beautiful.
So think about that, all schoolies, if you're listening right now.
Yeah, you might have just met your future husband or wife.
That could be it.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Yesterday afternoon, Megan makes us every year do a family Christmas photo with Santa.
Sean. How old are your kids now? Run us through the ages.
23, 18, 17 and 14.
And what about the other ones Megan doesn't know about? How old are
we can't go into
He has to go on a different day.
It's a sensitive moment once you acknowledge that they exist.
Yeah, but there's like 10 of them, Sean.
Anyway, so we Megan had it booked in at Garden City, and she just makes, that's it, you've got to put this in the diary.
So how wrapped is the 23-year-old about this?
Well, he didn't complain. I think she just says, that's it, I want this is done, and that's happening.
I think where the argument would come would be from the 16s to the... Because when you're 20-something, it's like, I might get a free meal out of this afterwards.
Well, they did.
So when you're 20, it's food.
So, when we got there, we're 10 minutes late, and Santa decided that he needed a pit stop then, so he went away for half an hour. So I had to stand in the line then from then onwards, so I was absolutely wrapped. And I'm standing there, and everyone else goes off to the shops.
Yeah, well, they're right there.
Yeah, I know, but then, oh, mate, I was spewing. And then we sat down next to Santa and we had the family photo.
Who sat on his knee?
Oh, no, they got that one really big bench seat and all that. I was just behind him. But anyway, we were trying to get Santa to do. They said, do you want to do a crazy one? And then Lachlan, my oldest, was like, hey, can we get Santa to be really upset and we all get around him like we're having a good time? And he wouldn't do it.
Really?
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. I got mine to pull a brown eye. Hey, this here is the Santa that was in Mandurah Forum a couple of years ago, and I think they book him every year. He actually looks like Santa. There's an amazing Santa as well.
Is that his real beard, do you think?
It is. Yeah, it's real beard. Yeah, so there's an amazing... Look at him. How cool is that? There's an amazing Santa at Karrinyup Shopping Centre as well. He looks legit. And when I was coming down the escalator the other day, he was talking to a tradie, and the tradie was probably, I think, a centimetre above the height of a elf. And so it looked like he was recruiting just people walking through the
We need more people at the workshop.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, what are you doing? What are you doing for work?
He's a tradie, so he's got discernible skills. Yeah, we're not going to get you to do it, Sean, obviously.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's great. This time of year.
Hey, Ross.
Yeah.
Are you good at impressions? Are we going to get you into a little bit of an impression?
I did hear that earlier, and I'm equally as terrified, not knowing what it is. If it's like an Arnie Schwarzenegger, that's cool.
Yeah, we've done that one. Sean got that one.
You've heard it already. Give us some Jennifer Coolidge.
So is she the one from...
White Lotus.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah,
oh, she... oh, hello, boys. I don't know, man.
Not your fun sex line.
We're gonna isolate that, Ross. Anyway, I know it was Pride Weekend and everything.
Call Ross on 1-800 Hello Boys.
Got it from here, you idiots.
See you later. Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.